Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review, and today I'm here to do a very special album review. I'm here to do Galactic Empire's brand new album, Episode 2. Alright? This album comes out, you guys not gonna guess, or maybe you will. It comes out on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's when this album comes out on Rise Records. It's the band's second album, and it's a little bit of a departure from the first one. The first album, to me, it felt more like it was, they grabbed the songs that we were familiar with. When I mean Star Wars fans were familiar with from the original trilogy, and they kind of give it their own spin, their own take on it, their own metal version of those songs, if you will. And in this album, they went more with the new sequel, like the Force Awakens. So they went in a little bit of a different direction with this album. But before we get started with this album review, let me just say this. I've always felt a strong leaning towards the Resistance. I don't know, I always felt a little bit like I was one of those rebels. But after listening to this album, and after digesting this album, I have to say there's never been a time where I felt more compelled to join the dark side as I did after listening to this album. Because this album, it's so well put together, the music is so impressive, the orchestrations in this record are absolutely amazing. The guitar playing is beautiful. It really, the melodies of this album are such that if this is what the dark side has to offer, I think I'm all in. I think I'm joining the dark side. I think I'm joining the Empire. So let's get right into this album so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this album has 11 tracks and it's 41 minutes in length, which is perfectly fine. Both aspects of the album are absolutely fine. I really like the way they structure the album. I really like the way they put the songs in this album, allowing almost for a storytelling aspect of the album to really speak for itself. And it gives a lot of fluidity to the album. You really feel like there is a storytelling aspect through music, through a soundtrack. It's almost like you're listening to a soundtrack to the movie. And it really combines well song after song. They really flow well together, and there is a fluidity to the album. So this is one of those that you put on and you play it, and by the time it's over, you haven't even realized that it's over and you have to really start all over again. It's really well put together. It's really well built. It's really well created, if you will. I also really like the fact that they went on a little bit of a heavier side. This album, compared to the original, not the original, but to the first one, is a lot heavier. It's a lot darker. There's a lot more ominous in terms of the music. There is a lot of more feelings of darkness, of despair, of hate, of all things that are the dark side of the Force. They're all things that are Empire. I mean, if you're gonna do an album like this, and you're going to go towards more of the new movies that are coming, the new sequels that are coming out, like The Force Awakens, like this one has a lot of elements of The Force Awakens, you really have to go heavier, in my opinion. You really have to go heavier. You really have to go darker. You really have to give the songs that emphasis of the dark side, of despair, of point of no return when everything is lost. And I think they really, in my opinion, they really were able to give the listener that in this album with the songs that they put together and how they put them together. A much heavier experience, a much heavier album. Still beautiful orchestration, still beautiful arrangements. The guitar playing in this album is absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, if Darth Vader is that good on the guitar, really, there is no hope for the rebellion. I must say that right now. So I really enjoyed the album. It was a really cool listening experience, and for somebody who's a fan of the movies, of Star Wars, this was extra cool. I just wished all the movies from now on would use these guys as their main build-up for their soundtrack, because oh my god, it's heavy, but it's beautiful, a lot of guitars, and it just makes for a super cool experience. Like I said, I really enjoyed this album all around. There was really nothing for me to really point out that I didn't like. I really like where they went with every single song, and more so the structure of the album itself really fit. It had fluidity. It really worked. As far as songs that I have to mention, songs that I enjoyed, I had not a difficult time picking it. I actually, from the first time that I listened to the album, there were 3 songs that immediately spoke to me, because these 3 songs gave me an overall look at the whole album. So the first one I have to say is Hyperspace. To me, that was the first song that immediately spoke to me, because it really felt like I was in hyperspace. It really felt like you were traveling in hyperspace on one of the Empire ships, or even in one of the Rebel ships. It really had that vibe to it. And one of the things that I liked about this song is the fast tempo of the song really gave the sense of traveling through hyperspace. It was one of the faster songs, one of the faster tempo songs, still heavy, but super fast in tempos, and that really gave that sense of traveling through hyperspace. I really like how they mellowed it out at certain points of the song, and when they mellowed it out, they brought in the old Empire theme. Not the complete theme, but just pieces of that theme, almost like if you were in that Empire spaceship and it's coming off of hyperspace and it's meeting one of the Rebel ships, and it stops, and the Rebel ship sees the Empire cruiser, and they start to freak out because they were there, and that song would kind of kick in during the movie. That's exactly how they built this song, and it really gives the listener a feel. You can almost visualize a scene where this would be going on. So I really like what they did with this song. It was one of those songs that immediately spoke to me. I really enjoyed it. Another song that I have to mention is The Emperor. To me, this is one of the heaviest and probably darker songs on the album, but considering is, about the Emperor, you really had to go heavy and it really had to go dark. I mean, you could not make this song a more lighter song. It just wouldn't fit what they were trying to achieve by creating a song surrounded around the Emperor. So I really like what they did with this song. They really made it heavy, they made it ominous, they made it dark, they made it almost like evil, if you will. So they did a really good job with that song, and that was another one that as I went through the first time around, it spoke to me immediately because it really showed how creative and how much you can say without saying anything, just with music alone, how much you can really say as far as storytelling is concerned. Now, my absolute favorite song in this album is Rey's theme. Now, what they did is they grabbed the original theme of the movie that was used in the movie, Rey's theme, and they gave it their own metal spin on it, and absolutely incredible. It's heavy, it's melodic, great guitar work, and to me, and this is my humble opinion, to me it's better than the original. I really enjoyed that they made it more metal, if you will. And the guitar work, the guitar melodies in this song is absolutely incredible. I think if the movie was remastered and they were to redo the movie, they should totally use this version of the song versus the original version. It's much heavier, it's much cooler. There's more, it's more metal, there is so much more life to this song in this version of the song. I really enjoyed it, I really like it. And to me, without a shadow of a doubt, this is my absolute favorite song on the album. And I cannot get enough of this song. It just has everything that I really enjoy in metal and that I enjoy in music, which is melody, cool guitar riffs, and some really cool breakdowns and little riffs and little changes in tempos. I really like this song. I really like what they've done with this song, and I really like this version of the song above the original version that was in the movie. So I really like what they've done with Rey's theme. My absolute favorite, hands down, of the whole album. And that's it. That is Galactic Empire Episode 2. It's another epic album. I mean, pretty much in line with the first one. You're still going to get some, throughout the album, you're still going to get some of the familiar themes of the original trilogy, but not the full themes, just little bits and pieces, like the Imperial March, for example. You're going to hear it in a song here and in a song there, almost as part of that storytelling aspect that they were trying to do with their music. So they sprinkled in a few chords here and a few chords there, just to give the other song the vibe that it needed to be given. So there is still some elements from the original album into this album, but this one stands on its own, and it's obviously more geared towards the new sequels that are coming out now from Star Wars, especially The Force Awakens. So for any fan of Star Wars, I highly recommend checking this album. For any fan of progressive metal, I highly recommend you guys checking this album. If you're a fan of both, then this is a no-brainer, is a must listen. And that's it for today. But let me know in the comment section below if you're familiar with the album, if you're familiar with the band. What do you guys think about these guys? What do you think about the album? I'm really looking forward to get your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are about this album. And remember, Galactic Empire Episode 2 comes out May 4th on Rise Records. See you guys.